Hey, what's up reefers? And now that I have had the ONF Flat 1 light for half a year, I am ready to give you all the pros and cons and the final recommendation. If you have been following this channel, you know one of the main reasons that I set up the 17-gallon drop-off tank is to test out this light. When I first saw this light as a Kickstarter project, I was very impressed by how sleek it looks and all the awards it has already won in Taiwan. So I reached out to the company and offered to buy an early version. I was actually given the 24 inches version with legs as a tester instead. I got this pendant version a few weeks ago, but these are essentially the same light, just with different mounts. For technical details on this light, please check out my initial video about this light. And this video will focus on my experience with this light in the past 6 months. So now let's take a look at looks first, and we'll start with the most obvious. This light is sexy. In fact, it is still one of the best looking light fixtures I have seen on the market, especially the pendant version. The attention to details is very obvious, right down to the braided line and the raised dot on the touch buttons. In terms of appearance, I'm not going to speak too much, but the ONF Flat 1 gets an A+ from me. So the second thing I want to look at is power. The amount of power the light puts out is obviously one of the most important aspects of a reef tank light. While ONF has published a PAR chart, I wanted to do my own testing as well. I was lucky enough to borrow my Reef Club's PAR meter and did some testing, and here are the results. And I will leave these results on screen while I talk over them. It is always risky to talk about coral light requirements versus PAR level, because corals adapt so well and there are just a huge variation of different corals. So as a very general guideline, I compiled these numbers from online resources. Again, this is just a very general guideline to give us a starting point in terms of coral placement under our lights. For the ONF Flat 1, I am running the light at 75% blue and 25% white at 100% intensity, meaning it is not at its maximum intensity. It seems to be at its maximum intensity when running at 50% white and 50% blue. However, I think 75% blue and 25% white is most reefers will keep the light at, so I set it there and tested the light at that level. The light is roughly 5 inches from the water surface. Strictly looking at the number, this light is sufficient for all the corals that I am keeping, all the way up to the lower light SPS. Aquapora may be possible if I keep them right under the light near the surface, but I would probably not risk it and the color probably won't be as vibrant. The PAR reading near the top of the drop-off tank looks great, all in the mid 100s. The number drops off pretty quickly as we go deeper. We are looking at an average of about 80 at the bottom of the 24 inches tank. It's good for low light corals like mushroom zoas and softies, but nothing more. I held off doing any major review on this light because I wanted to see how the corals react to this light long term. After observing all the corals in my drop-off tank in the last 6 months, they've all been doing fantastic and show no sign of light starvation. And this ranged from zoas, frog spawn, bubble tip anemone, bird's nest, and more. Although the SPS is a more recent addition because I don't want to add SPS to a really fresh new tank. I was a little bit skeptical about keeping SPS under this light, but so far I was pleasantly surprised. I also want to point out again how nice this light diffuser is. The color blends really well together with no shadowing and it really gives a T5 vibe. The third thing I want to talk about is the mobile app. So the light looks sexy and it puts out a usable amount of PAR for a 25-inch deep tank. Is it the perfect light for a shallow tank? Well, almost. Half a year ago, this light's mobile app had a few nagging issues, but it appears that they have all been addressed by the new release. I tested the new light for the previous issues and all of them had been fixed. There is only one feature that I think this light should have. Currently, the built-in timer only allows one setting, meaning you can only control the time that the light turns on and off at one single color spectrum. This means no actinic or no moonlight period at all for a reef tank. The light is either on or off. It would be nice to have the ability to set multiple timers at different color spectrum and intensity. It would also be nice to see what Kelvin temperature that the current white and blue light mix produces, instead of just a percentage. Beyond that, the mobile app is sufficient. While the mobile app still has a little room for improvements, the good news is that software is much easier to update than hardware. App updates could be pushed out easily. Mobile app aside, the light fixture itself is top notch. If you are planning to keep a mixed reef aquarium no taller than 24 inches and you want something that looks sleek and non-intrusive, I would definitely recommend you check out ONF Flat 1. This light has been used by a lot of planted tanks in Taiwan, so it is already proven in that arena. And based on my half-a-year experience with this light over the 17-gallon drop-off tank, I can recommend this light over a mixed reef shallow tank without hesitation. For more information about ONF or this Flat 1 light, do check out their website at onfaqua.com or post your question in the comments section below. I will try my best to answer it, or I can forward it to somebody who can answer your question. Alright, I hope this 6 months review has been helpful. This really is a solid light run by a solid company. I hope them success in this industry, and I hope that you also enjoyed this video. I'll see you next time.